I think it really depends on the parts of the world. Very recently, I would say the crisis in Gaza. Again, I might not be right in saying this. In some parts of the world, it has received a lot of attention, a lot of news coverage. But then when it comes to other parts of the world, like in the West, I feel like it's been undermined. And of course, there's different dynamics to that. But to answer the question more directly, I think it's recently, very recently, it's Gaza. I think the best way to solve a crisis is not, bigger institutions cannot do as much as smaller institutions, and startups can help. Specifically, in our example, Aseel, which is a buy good, do good platform, we have a group and we have a team of local delivery drivers who, if you were to buy a product here today, we will get it delivered to those who need it the most on the ground for you, in parts of the world where you cannot imagine visiting yourself. So the best approach is for startups. The startup approach is the best approach, and I would say hands-on approach, where bigger institutions have not been able to provide those helps. It's always going to be the smaller startups who are going to make the difference. So I would say the startup approach. Yeah, so the impact startup is it's mostly focused on the humane side of it, of the problem. I guess we both solve problems. Some of these problems are problems that need urgent attention, and so impact startups, to me, is more about making a difference on the humane side of things, on things that really are problems. It's not problems that look into the surface and create problems of their own and then solve them. Rather, we solve problems that are real problems that needs real focus and that affects the life of people. Specifically, in case of Aseel, we're a startup where we're on the ground. We deliver first-hand aid services, and we also do to those who wants to get their products sold in the likes of US, Canada, and Australia. Previously, these countries have never had exposure to marketplaces. We have created a marketplace, hence Aseel, buy good, do good. Again, coming back to your previous question you asked, it's more when you're an impact startup going to investors and telling them the countries they operate in, they don't look at those countries, they consider them a risk. So the biggest problem that you're going to face is, in our example, is Afghanistan, and then you have many startups here that are operating in Ukraine. These countries are in active war, and so I would say when you go to investors and you try and raise funds, they don't look at that. It's a big risk for them. And so they don't look at the opportunity side of the things as well, where we're solving problems that we don't have any competition out there. So that's probably one of the main difficulty. And of course, every company, every startup has their own risk challenges when it comes to creating teams, and it cannot be done without funds. And then again, it takes you back to not being able to raise funds because of the region that you operate in. So there you are. What's motivated me is, first of all, the work that I did prior to this, I did not see it affecting people. I worked as a software engineer prior to this, so I would write a lot of code and it will disappear. I would not see the impact of that code. Who was using it? It was bigger institutions using it, banks using it. So I could not see the difference that my code and the hours that I was investing. Sometimes I'll put 14 to 16 hours a day into writing code and then not know where that code went and who used it. And so to me, it's very important that if I'm spending my youth on something, and if I am investing my time into something, that I can see who is helping. So in case of Aseel, I get to see that if we are writing code, it's for good. It helps people on the ground receive packages, emergency food aid packages. I get to see that those who are on the ground can now sell their products and get income for their family. These are mostly women who needs money more than anyone else. These are women who have children, who don't have male guardians, and for them it's very difficult to go out and work in those specific geographies where we operate. So it's making a big difference, and to see that, I think that's the main reason why I felt like I should be heading this direction.
As a